Howdy, Dennis Bradford here. Let's think some about being, feeling, and doing better. Here's the factual skeleton of my story. Born in Teaneck, New Jersey, USA, my father caught TB from German POWs and spent 6 months in a Denver, Colorado sanatorium. My mother and I lived in a motel there for 6 months. He recovered, and we moved to Northville, Michigan, where he took a low-stress teaching job. Then we moved to Queens, where I did kindergarten, while he completed his residency at Bellevue Hospital in New York City. Brian K. Bradford, medical doctor, fellow of the American College of Physicians, set up his internal medical practice in Toledo, Ohio. I went to DeVoe Elementary School from grades 1 to 5. The family grew. I have 3 younger brothers and a younger sister, and moved to a larger house in Ottawa Hills, where I did time in the Ottawa Hills school system from the end of grade 5 through grade 11. My senior year of high school I spent at Blair Academy, diploma, in Blairstown, New Jersey. Then on to Syracuse University for 4 years, where I majored in philosophy, Bachelor of Arts, and was commissioned in the Army. After returning to Toledo and working for less than a year as a parole officer for juvenile delinquents, a bartender at the New Zanzibar, and a medical orderly, I went on active duty, spending 10 months in Georgia and 13 months in Korea, after which I was honorably discharged. I wasn't sure what to do next. My father argued that graduate school would be good for me, paid the required $75 for me to apply to 5 of them, and loaned me his car to visit 2 of them. I spent 6 years at the University of Iowa, earning a master's degree and a doctorate in philosophy. Next came a teaching job at SUNY Geneseo, where I taught philosophy, logic, and humanities for 32 years while living on the shore of Conesus Lake. After that, I tried with little financial success to work online for some years and finally became not only a certified life coach, but also a certified energy healer. I'm a former member of Mensa and the American Philosophical Association. There are hundreds of blog posts I've written at dennis-bradford.com, hundreds of videos I've made on YouTube, and over 30 books I've written listed on Amazon, where I became an Amazon best-selling author. I played full-contact hockey in the Rochester Metro Hockey League for many years after moving back to New York State. Even in major cities, such leagues don't exist anymore. I was alternate captain for 2 seasons and captain for 2 seasons in the B-League, although I played a few games in the A-League too. At 6 feet 2 inches, my playing weight was just under 190 pounds. I was a defensive defenseman who loved to check. I have a well-equipped home gym and did strength training every week for nearly 30 years with my partner Carlo Felice until the pandemic of 2020 stopped that. I used to be able to do a full squat with 300 pounds and do over 400 pounds for reps on stiff-legged deadlifts. Twice married and divorced, I spent about 26 years living with a wife. No children. Since then, I've lived alone for 27 years and counting. As a member of the Rochester Zen Center, I've been a formal student of its abbot, the Reverend Bowden Colheed Roshi, for over 20 years. Am I full of gratitude for the life I've enjoyed? You bet. Not only have I been very lucky, but also I'm very happy and consider myself one extremely fortunate human being. Whenever I encounter others, my goal is always to give more than I receive. I'm an introvert who is energized by being alone or with loved ones and exhausted by being around strangers. On the Myers-Briggs Personality Type Indicator, I'm an INTJ. On the map of the scale of consciousness developed by David R. Hawkins, MD, Ph.D., my personal calibration has recently been in the mid-590s for most of the last year. I'm not a sage, but I'm still working on ego reduction and just might make it before leaving. As my great dissertation director Penny Outbutchfroff used to say frequently, one never knows about these things. Unless you happen to know me personally, this recitation must seem rather uninteresting. It's really background for what may be much more interesting and relevant to your life, namely the 2 major turning points, or identity crises, that are the topic of the next video. Cheers!